and gentlemen, and welcome to the third installment of Youth Plus Radio. Today I'm joined by a very exciting young man, Isaac Mosongo. Isaac, welcome to Youth Plus Radio.
Thank you very much.
Your story is very, very interesting, and perhaps one which many people haven't heard before. Before we even get into your business and your entrepreneurial journey, you were an officer at the GSU.
All right.
Yes. How does one go, and thank you for your service, but how does one go from serving in the force to starting and running his own business successfully?
I think it comes from just wanting to see what's on the other side, wanting to something better for yourself. Mm-hmm. I served for 10 years.
Wow.
And I just wanted to, I felt like the challenge, I had already surpassed the challenge that I had at that moment.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what's on the other side. So I joined corporate, did about 6 years of corporate safety, health and safety.
Right.
Then I think I was pushed. But then I also think my time had come because I put together what I had learned over about 16 years of working and decided to put together a company with a friend.
Right.
So it's that's basically how I ended up in entrepreneurship.
And this company was Safety Associates Limited?
Yes, that was Safety Associates Limited.
Still along health and safety?
Health and safety, yes.
How did you get into health and safety? It's not a very common passion area for a lot of people.
Yeah, so while I was still in the force, I happened to train as a nurse. Yeah, so number of us, about 15 of us, in the year that I enlisted, got scholarships to go and do nursing.
Oh, congratulations!
So when I left, resigned from the force rather, I decided to to use those skills. Actually, it's rather my boss at the moment, my first job outside the force, who asked that he combines both the security aspect of my experience with the nursing part. So I ended up being a head of a security department, but then in charge of safety at work. So I learned through throughout my work experience, and then I think they had very high standards. That was at Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Club. It's a Canadian brand, and then I think they have very high standards of health and safety, which are derived from their head offices in Canada. So that's how I ended up in health and safety.
Wow, and starting Safety Associates Limited, because you'd already been in a discipline force, transitioned into corporate for 6 years, and this is a different kind of transition. If you had to describe that journey from beginning Safety Associates Limited, what was that journey like?
The journey, I can say there's a lot of, it was very intense. Because you're used to working for someone,
right?
Then you have to make decisions. At the end of the day, you have to put food on the table. So it was a very intense journey. You have like strict timelines which you have to meet. For example, you're delivering a product or a service for a client, and most of our clients are corporate clients. So having worked in the corporate sector as well, I saw the way you are supposed to be efficient when you're dealing with a corporate client. So it was intense. It was exciting. when I got my first paycheck, it was about almost 0.4 M.
Wow. That's
So
you started big.
Yeah. So that was quite something.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, saw that there's potential. You can actually end up working as an entrepreneur. Yeah, and then I would say, other than being exciting and intense, it was rewarding.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you are the one who's responsible for whatever bottom line you get.
Exactly.
You can either make a profit or a loss.
So your output is always dependent on your input.
Exactly.
Not to go biblical, but what you reap is what you sow.
What you sow, exactly.
In the truest sense of the word.
Exactly, to the true sense of the word.
That challenge and that journey of getting clients, because these are corporate clients you're dealing with, and with a very unique product, health and safety, and a very serious product, because at the end of the day, the clients you're getting will rely on you for the safety of their colleagues, for the employees, and for everyone who's on their premises. Was that a difficult challenge getting those clients, or were you confident because you had the experience, you had the expertise, you knew what you were talking about when you were pitching to them?
So one of the things you have to rely on is your networks. So over the course of 16 years, I think I had networked really well.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that working in the hospitality industry exposes you to a lot of different types of clients.
Yeah.
So you do conferences, and that is majorly where you get like big clients: banking industry, education sector, government. So you get to meet new people.
Yeah.
And so these are the networks that I started seeing. It actually started adding up together, that I have been working in this industry, and you see, these are people I can be able to go and make a pitch and get a client.
Yeah. And that experience also, and connecting that experience with your networking abilities,
Exactly.
actually quite a crucial skill to have.
Yeah, as a manager in the hospitality sector, you actually do duty management every once in a while, which entails going to talk to the guests, making sure that they are having a good time.
Yeah.
And if there are any complaints or concerns, you address them, and then you make sure you do a report on the same every day. Yeah, so I think it's like I was being prepared for entrepreneurship all along. Yeah, so those are skills which you learn if you're really keen and not just going through waltzing through employment. You definitely pick up a few things which you can be able to use to your advantage as a business person.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Now, with Safety Associates Limited, that growth, did it continue, or did it sort of transform or metamorphose or transition into something else? The words are escaping me.
It morphed into something else. At the end of the day, it's like my professional journey has been one of getting challenges. And then once you get to a challenge and you feel you've already achieved what you need to get out of that particular challenge, it's time to move on to the next. So I decided to venture by myself and started Alimac Agencies Limited.
Alimac Agencies.
Yes, and Campnasi Travels.
Campnasi. Okay. Yes. Alimac still dealt in health and safety
solutions.
Okay, so that's already an area that you're very familiar with, very successful.
Yes.
Still have a backbone of network connections and yes. clients. Yeah. Campnasi, though, is a bit interesting.
Now, as you've already established, I was an officer. And one of the things you do as part of your training is something we call route marches. Yes, you are given like a liter of water, a packet of biscuits or maybe some canned fruits, and you're given coordinates to navigate, find the next point. Yeah, and you end up walking like for 60 or even 70 kilometers.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so
you get to see a lot along
you
those.
get to see a lot, and that's in the wilderness. So that's where the love for nature came from, because at Camp Nasi we specialize in camping, hiking, and corporate. We also give corporate clients we offer team building services. Yeah. With a twist of hiking a little bit, coupled with team building exercises. Yes.
Has that been challenging, especially now the fact that you have two businesses running concurrently? Has that been a different sort of challenge, having to sort of manage the two and also ensure that the day-to-day, even though you may not be single-handedly operating them?
No. It's not been a challenge. One of the things that I learned in my corporate experience is the beauty of working as a team. So I have a wonderful team where everybody knows what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So there's no conflict, and then once you can align somebody with their skills with the job that they are doing, you get a very easy time. And most of our hiking and camping activities are usually over the weekends. Yeah, so maybe you'll find the once in a while. Camp Nasi is still growing, so once in a while you'll get an opportunity to, or a random client requesting for team building activities over the course of the week.
The weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe talk a bit more about that leadership transition, going from a leadership setting within a corporate or within employment, and having to replicate, if not go beyond that leadership expertise now as a business owner, as a founder, as a CEO. What sort of things did you sort of have to change or improve or start implementing to make sure your leadership was what it needed to be for both of your businesses, to make sure to ensure that both of your businesses are thriving?
Okay, so I think one of the things that I was able to carry forward is the element of discipline. Working as a member of the disciplined forces, it is very high. You're required to perform certain tasks. You don't ask questions. You're given an order and you execute that to the letter. So there was that, and then when I started working in corporate after my stint at in the forces, I was privileged to have very good leaders who I was reporting to. And one of the things that I learned is you have to empower people. You cannot have control over everything. You cannot do everything.
Yeah.
You can do anything, but you cannot do everything.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to get the right people, then empower them. If somebody does not have the capacity to do something and you have identified, because sometimes all that somebody needs to do is just a little push. Just identify that somebody has a certain skill or a talent, and then you just empower them and they'll be able to take up a role. I can tell you, for example, I was not very good with public speaking coming from the force. I was more of a person who executes orders.
Yeah.
So getting into corporate, I got an opportunity to be able to interact with people from different nationalities. Get that you have to be very confident, you have to be bold, and those are skills and some of the things that I was able to transfer into the business outfits. Yes.
Are there moments, and it's very surprising to hear you say you are not as good in public speaking because you come across very confidently, but are there moments where maybe in the early days you felt moments of doubt or moments of uncertainty, and you still have to possess that element of confidence and assurity? Otherwise, your team may also start getting worried, and it might affect the future of your business. How did you get through such moments?
I can say that I was prepared early on. Being a member of the discipline forces, you cannot be a timid person because sometimes you can experience action, and action is not you're not dealing with blows and
it's a different kind of
you had some very scary stuff. So that confidence is something that I carried with me. I've carried with me like all through. And for example, it's very easy to go to take like a group out for an excursion, and then you start the day very well, but then along the way, just things start going wrong. You can have a breakdown, the vehicle breaks down, and you have to be that person who, if actually people see that you're scared, and it shows even from your face. So it's very important for you to be very brave in the face of adversity. Yes. You cannot be a timid person. So that's one of the things that I also teach my team. If you don't have a solution, or if there's some things, for example, one of the things that you're taught when you're dealing with a crowd and maybe it's unruly, you identify somebody who's causing trouble. So if you're able to deal with that one person, then you can diffuse the whole tension in the group. Yes. So if you're able to get to that person, you make sure that everybody else is calm.
So you have to have a level of awareness and composure.
Exactly.
Because
so
also you don't want to overreact, but you want to deal with it just appropriately and proportionately.
Yes. Because if you are too heavy-handed when you're dealing with people, remember you're dealing with clients who are very sensitive.
Right.
And some of these clients, actually, most of my clients currently for the travel business are foreigners. And you cannot, what you actually look forward to at the end of every excursion is to make sure that everybody gets back home safe with a very good report about the kind of experience they've had out there. Yes.
Have you ever been confronted with a situation where you had to choose between an unruly client and a member of your team?
Wow.
Because we always hear this thing or this phrase that the client comes first, but sometimes the client may interfere with the chemistry of your team itself, and that may have even longer lasting effects.
Yes.
Have you ever had such situations?
I've had such situations, but they were diffused. They were diffused well. I was able to speak to the particular client, because if one person is, and especially you have to look out for those who are like really influential. If one client who can be able to make the whole situation like escalate, you make sure that you talk to them so that if they understand what is happening, then they can be able to calm the rest of the clients down. So, and I don't think I've ever had to choose, because my team and we are always on the same page. So you work, when you work as a team, it is very, very easy to make sure that everything goes smoothly.
But you have a very, very unique sort of role you have to play as the business owner, because you have to show not just leadership to your team, but also to the client you're dealing with. Yeah. That requires a lot of patience. You must be very patient and understanding, man.
Very, very much. And I think that is something that I've learned over time. You know, even as you age, you become a little bit mellow. And then, you know, your business depends on your relationship, on how you speak to the client.
Yeah.
I believe in the power of communication. Communication is very key across every industry. If you cannot be able to communicate and articulate yourself well, I promise you'll end up making losses. Yes.
Well, about Alimac agencies, that's still running, that's still going along fruitfully. You're still been able to provide the health and safety products to same clients that you had before, or you've been able to grow beyond what you had at Safety Associates?
Not the same clients, but it's part of expanding. You know, we had a very amicable transition with my former business partner. So,
and that's very important.
Yes, it's very, very important. Because from time to time we actually consult, and sometimes if I have a job that maybe like I need extra resource persons, my former business partner is able to assist. And one of the things that I've come to learn in business, it's you don't view people as competitors; they are collaborators.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Because it's good when you are able to communicate with somebody and maybe ask them for assistance. Yes.
How long did it take for that mindset to kick in? Because I think, I may be wrong, but even as young people, you'll find 100 different young people doing the same thing, when collectively those 100 could be doing something at a much bigger scale. And yes, that sense of independence is always important. Everyone wants that sense of ownership. But how long did it take, and what did it require of you to shift your mindset from we're not really competitors, we're actually collaborators?
You see, there's this phrase that my former business partner and I used to use a lot. He's called Fred, and just like you. So wherever he is, Fred, shout out to you. We used to say there's enough grass for all the animals to graze. Even if you went out there with a certain product, it only depends on how best you can be able to package your product and service over the other client. At the end of the day, it's not there's some element of competition, but then you also need collaborative efforts, because you are working towards the same goal. It's all about ensuring that people are safe and secure, and either in their homes, in the community at large. Speaking of community, there's an element of disaster risk management and such kind of things. Yes.
What would you say is your proudest or your happiest moment in either business, as the originator of the vision, as the founder? What would you say is one of the proudest moments you've had so far in your journey?
One of the proudest moments I can say is being able to every time I am able to deliver successfully to a client, and just to see that smile, or to get another phone call.
Repeat business.
For repeat business. Or not only just repeat business, but when a client calls me and tells me I was referred to you by somebody else who I offered a product or a service, that's a very proud moment for me. And they're quite a number, I can tell you.
It makes all the hard work, all the long nights, all the risks, makes it all worth it.
It makes it worth it because sometimes you have to burn the midnight oil. Clients want something. They don't really know. They don't know what you do behind the scenes, but you have to make it happen for them, and that's what is most important.
And it's almost like going that step above and beyond.
Exactly.
creates a deeper relationship. It creates more credibility and creates trust at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you have to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no getting more business from clients.
And that consistency is also key, isn't it?
Yeah, consistency is key because from time to time, you'll find that if you are not able to maintain a standard like throughout, then you would get there's definitely backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I dread to think that maybe I've maintained a client for so long and then they just tell you that they no longer require your services. That's
a very disappointing thing to hear.
Disappointing moment.
Yeah,
I can say. Yeah.
So 16 plus years and with Alimak agencies and Camp Nasi growing and getting onto bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now with the two businesses that you're running and given all that you've experienced, what would you change, if anything? Or what's something that you feel like you could have been done better or differently, if not better?
Quite a number of things. The younger me will have, number one, learned to say no at times.
Say no to business, to opportunities?
Yes. Sometimes you don't know the kind of value that you bring to the table. And that makes sometimes, everybody, actually, I don't know whether it is a Kenyan thing. You have to bargain.
Yeah.
So somebody will bargain. And because I took some time before I knew how to reasonably price my product and service. So sometimes you'd find that you barely broke even. My team and I. So one of the things is as long as you know the quality that you are giving is up to standard, then it's okay to say no. And you just don't say no. You can maybe like give a referral to somebody else because just like when you go out there are different, for every product you'll find somebody who's selling it for a different price. Yeah, but the quality might be a little bit different, if I can say that. Then the other thing is I think I would have focused more in the earlier days on building professional relationships.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So as you keep on growing, sometimes you can find yourself resting on your laurels. You are complacent.
Yeah.
You're like, I think whatever I've received from this and the other client is probably enough. So I think I should have cast my net wider. Yeah, so a lot of sales and marketing, to make sure that you have like if, for example, you went to 10 different people I am very sure either 2 or 3 or even 1 will give you some business.
Yeah.
So supposing you had like 50, so your pool is much more.
Yeah.
You can get like more clients.
Yeah.
So I think I should have cast my net wider in terms of like building more professional relationships with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think I would also have believed in myself more. Yeah. There's sometimes when, as an entrepreneur, you have self-doubt and you fear. There's an author called Napoleon Hill, and one of the things he says is that the only thing that is so deep-seated is the emotion of fear, and it might burden somebody for a long time in your life until you come to realize that it is something that you could just have overcome. Yeah. So fear can manifest itself in sometimes doubting yourself, not being decisive enough, procrastinating, putting off, maybe making a pitch,
Right.
cold calling.
Yeah.
By cold calling, I mean just picking up the phone and calling just random people. I'm offering XYZ product and service. Yeah. Do you mind having a look at whatever it is that I'm offering? Yeah. So I think that if I could have dealt with that aspect of maybe believing in myself more, I think I would be very far.
On the point of fear, let me ask you a question that was posed to me a few weeks ago. Yeah. Have you ever experienced a fear of success because you knew it would require much more than you're not sure you're willing to give?
Exactly. There are clients who want you to supply something maybe to the tune of even 100 million, and you're like, this is a lot. Yeah. But all you need is just to think about outside the box and to believe that you can be able to do it. Yeah. Because on the entrepreneurial journey, I came to learn that it's just success rewards the people who are bold. Yeah. And one of the things that you need to do is just reach out. If you're not able to do something, collaborate with somebody else. And all you need to do is probably just a phone call away, and you'll get your answers about how to do something that you think is beyond the scope that you're able to handle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it goes back, that thinking outside the box goes back to what you were saying before, that spirit of collaboration.
Yes.
And that mentality of, if indeed it's that job worth 100 million, yes. Even if you're partnering with 2-3 other people, splitting it 3 ways, 100 million 3 ways is more valuable than keeping 100,000 shillings on your own. Yeah. In the long term. It requires that opening of your mind, of your perspectives. Yeah. And I guess it's not as easy as it sounds. It requires a lot of inflection and reflection, looking at yourself and being bold enough to admit that that's what it may require.
Yeah, and also, I think also exposure. You see, when you collaborate with people, let me just give this example. When you're going through high school, you had we usually make this joke. There are children who have learned in the group of schools, and you are in some high school somewhere. Yeah. So these two people have 2 different mindsets. Yeah, and or somebody who has just been raised here locally versus somebody who has traveled far and wide. So that exposure gives somebody even confidence. So you'll find that when you reach out to somebody who has handled a large volume of sales, then it is very easy for you to get tips about how to go about. And probably there are very good people out there who they even give you a helping hand. Somebody will even offer to lend you some cash because they want you to succeed and also get to the level that they have been there. So it's good to have mentors, to have people who are you can collaborate with in all those senses, financially, just for like business advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And speaking of, when you find yourself in a position where you need that counsel, you need that mentorship, that guidance, do you have people you go to, whether it's family, whether it's your former business partner, Fred, like sort of like a support system?
Support system, yes. So number one, I'm a very religious person. Don't know whether people have these boxes they put. I don't know whether it's religious or spiritual. Yeah, for me, God comes first. If I'm faced with something that is really troubling me, whether it's in the sphere of business, whatever it is, personal matters, I will pray about it first of all. And I believe God speaks to each and every one of us. You only have to be able to identify how God speaks to you. So for me, God comes first. And then I also have mentors, people who have mentored me in terms of business. And these kind of mentors, they sort of boost your morale when it comes to business ideas and letting you know that you at some point they actually point you to see that at some point you started with nothing and where you are, and you can actually
made
see
progress. Yeah,
you can see that you've made a lot of progress from when you began to the current place where you are. And then I think so there, I think both God and those mentors. Yeah.
And those, especially the mentors in this point of view, are important because entrepreneurship is tough. And sometimes it may feel like a very lonely journey. And sometimes this aspect of tunnel vision where we're even afraid to look back. We're just focused on what's ahead. And during moments of doubt, moments of that lack of confidence, we actually forget the progress we've made and the potential we have to make even more progress. So during those times, actually play quite a significant role in reassuring us that yes, things may be tough right now, but you've actually done quite a bit since you began. And sometimes you always need that person to remind us.
Yeah. And I think the other category that I forgot about is people with similar business models like what you're currently doing. When I was starting Camp Nasi, there's a gentleman that I sought out. He's called Kamau. Kamau is I think he was just God sent. So I didn't know how to go about putting together a tours and travels outfit.
Okay.
But then he made me see possibilities, and he actually made me be confident enough to know that I could start that business by myself, not really necessarily having to go into partnerships. Yeah, because partnerships are not bad. I'm not saying partnerships are bad, but I am a firm believer in owning a vision and sticking to it, because sometimes it's very easy when you have when you're in partnerships to have a lot of dissenting views, and in between, when there's that power struggle sort of, it's easy to lose focus of that vision.
So it's important also to remain steadfast in your vision as the vision bearer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful stuff. So looking at both Alimak agencies and Kamnasi, what for you is the next step? What's that growth? What does that growth look like? Where do you see those two businesses and yourself in the next, whether it's 2, 3, 5 years?
One of the things that I've learned going forward is you have to be able to adapt. We have just come out of 2 very significant events. There was the COVID pandemic, and then which was followed after by an electioneering period. So one of the things that happened, especially during the COVID pandemic, is that there was a lot of businesses were not spending. Because people even had job cuts. I'm sure you know of somebody who had to pack up their belongings and
go back
up country.
To Shags,
So even during that time, I remember I had a client wanted us to complete some business that we had started, and we had to adapt. That is when people started knowing that there are platforms like Zoom, and other forums, Teams. So we had to adapt to doing things like trainings and other consultations online. So you can talk to a client and you get to deliver your product and service online. So you have to adapt. And then the other thing is that I think it is very important for somebody to invest in themselves. In terms of the knowledge that you have, because so that you can be able to offer a better service. And then if your business needs to change, maybe you need to shed off some things so that you can be able to grow. Another thing is that you are not supposed to spread yourself very thin. Find out what is your niche and run with it. So I foresee Alimak Agencies Limited going regional. Actually,
nice.
It's not going to be just a local outfit.
Nice.
In terms of safety solutions, I can see myself in Uganda, Rwanda, and who knows, maybe international.
And I'm sure mentioning Uganda and Rwanda, you already have a plan for those 2 countries.
Definitely. People say that the sky is the limit, but for me, it is a stepping stone.
Wow. That's powerful.
Sure.
What about Kamnasi? How do you see that evolving and growing even more?
Just same with Alimak agencies. Actually, Kamnasi is a subsidiary under Alimak. Yes. So I foresee the brand growing with having other subsidiaries. I plan to venture into the medical field. I have a background as a nurse, so I foresee probably you'll be seeing Alimak Healthcare somewhere.
From your lips to God's ears. That's what we always say.
Amen to that.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what your journey is going to have in store. And I must say your charisma, your discipline, your confidence is really very inspiring.
Thank you.
For sure, definitely we're gonna see great things from you. Maybe for those listening, if you want to leave your handles or those of your businesses so they can follow you as well on social media.
So for Alemark agencies, it's Alemark_agencies, both on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and it's Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Yeah, same for Camp Nasi. It's Camp Nasi Travels. It's at Camp Nasi on Facebook and on Instagram as well. Yes.
Super. And I'll be sure to drop those in the description below,
Yeah.
so that also they can look you up and follow you and see whether they want to go on any of your tours anytime soon. I'm definitely interested to see where you can take me.
All right.
But yeah, thanks for coming today. Thanks for sharing your story with us. Very insightful experiences to share and very powerful things to leave us thinking about and learning from as well. And we always appreciate hearing from entrepreneurs like yourself. I'm still very impressed by your journey. It's been very unconventional, but by all signs, you're truly headed for great things ahead of you.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for coming to Youth Plus Radio. And hopefully the next time we're interviewing you, it's going to be in Uganda or in Kigali.
Yeah, some other place like that. And something I forgot to mention, we also have a YouTube platform for we are also trying to get into the podcast space. So we are known as Digital Diaries Kenya. So expect to see something as well there.
That's on Facebook.
Yes.
Sorry, on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
So and maybe we'll give more details in future. Yeah, but it's all about we are focusing more on things to do with travel, culture, and relationships. So I'm very big on imparting knowledge to upcoming young men. Yeah, so that we build a very strong nation with people who are visionary.
Yeah, trust me, we need more men like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Asante
much.
sana, Isaac. It's been a pleasure. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in once again. And be sure to catch us next week for the next edition of Youth Plus Radio. A special shout out to our producers, Steve and Bramwell. Thanks, guys, for putting all of this together. And we shall see you next week. Bye-bye.